Yeah, hello again. This time we're going to be talking about social media, contemporary social media, not the history I gave you before. So, first off, we're going to talk about social media sites as well, I should point out. Okay, let's compare these two because I want you to make a distinction between social media and social networking. Okay? So, social media, forms of electronic communication through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content. Think Facebook. That's what Facebook does. Social networking, creation and maintenance of personal and business relationships online. Think LinkedIn. It's a social networking site. Now, I will have to point out that Facebook sort of does both. Okay, so but we're not going to worry about too much about Facebook right now. Okay, so social media. We have digital platforms like Instagram, like TikTok, like Facebook, etc. Okay. And what we're going to do in all these is we're going to create and we're going to share content. Okay. User generated content. This is what Tim Berners-Lee had in mind originally when he created the World Wide Web, that people could go in and create their own content. We didn't do that. It took us about 15 years after he invented it before we figured out we should do that. So user-generated content. This is a game changer because what this means is you as a user do not have to just passively go on websites and look and see what other people created. You can add your own information. Okay? So we do networking, we do messaging, we do video, we do audio, we do all kinds of data on the media platforms. Okay, now a networking site, social networking site, by contrast, constructs a public or semi-public profile within a bounded system. Think bounded system means you have to have a password, okay? In that regard, like I said, Facebook sort of does that too, okay? You can articulate a list of users with whom you share a connection. That's what you do on Facebook. That's what you do on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, that's what you do totally. You don't do a whole lot of other chatting on LinkedIn. You can, but almost nobody does. You can view and traverse the list of connections and those that are made within your system. So other people have to be logged into your system, or they have to have accounts on your system for them to become part of your connections. This is why people are always sending out, you want to join LinkedIn, or you may be one of my friends. I have, 15 friends in common with you. Why don't we become friends? Okay. All right. Now, I want to go back, when we first started studying this in communication, we call it CMC, computer mediated communication. There's a big argument, big debate that went on. Kind of funny when we think about it now. The question was, is this interpersonal communication when we're using CMC, or is it mass communication? Because we usually define in communication, we usually define our specialization, our area of communication, by audience size. So, well, do we have a mass audience when we're doing CMC? Originally, in CMC, we only do an email. We didn't have any of these other sites. We didn't have web pages in the first place. So the idea was that, okay, it's not really mass, although it could be, because you never know who's going to see what you put out there. So they said, no, it's face-to-face, or peer-to-peer, which is what I have on the screen here. Peer-to-peer, which is mail, fax, Skype, telephones. Those are, two people. You and I are talking. As opposed to mass media with a newspaper, magazine, a whole bunch of people may be reading the magazine, or in a broadcast, a bunch of people are listening to the radio or to your TV. So it's a mass audience. Well, if we look in the middle there, we have social media. It kind of does both. So it really wasn't one or the other. It was a new dimension of communication. So we had LinkedIn, Google+, Instagram. They are all different, but they have some things in common. And so we will call all of these things, anytime you see an app and it has a platform, we're going to call that probably social media. Okay? Okay. So let's go back a little bit to what I call historic CNC. We talked about the bulletin boards for a second. I talked about CompuServe. And I didn't mention Jeff Wilkins, but he's the one who started it with a mainframe sharing system. Then we had America Online. Okay, America Online, like I said, it survived. It's still around. Okay, now let's talk about then when we did this, we had this prehistoric CMC. Now we have graduated. And what really enabled this was a shift to mobile. And mobile is much more popular now than desktop or laptop or anything else. Okay, it was a visual shift that we made in the 2010s. Okay, early part of the 21st century. Okay, so smartphones came along. That changed the game. They enabled constant access. Then we had things like Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, and there are many others. Those are just the ones in the United States that have international patrons or consumers as well. But there are other ones in other countries that we never even heard of. They're very popular in other countries. So the idea was this. One of the things that we took advantage of what we call push technology. Now, what push technology is this. You sign up for Instagram. And every time somebody sends you an Instagram message, you get a message on your phone saying, hey, somebody just sent you something. Sometimes it tells you it is. Depending on how you have your phone set up, it can summarize what the post is or whatever. But this is push technology. So you will say, yeah, I want to have notifications. So the server back there that's serving Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, it will send you messages. Or you can do your email that way. You can do anything you want to that way online. Okay, now I'm going to stop here because I'm going to go in next to some of the platforms. And so I want to get a fresh start on those. So I'm going to stop here and we'll pick it up with another brief lecture. It was not very long, about some of the historical dimensions of our current platforms. Okay, so we'll be back.